Infinite Nebula, here with the updated Inzektor deck build. Bro's got it here for y'all. Take care.
Alright, so last time we saw Inzektors was like a ban list ago. So my whole strategy in that previous video got shot out of the water because no Boros Savage, which really stinks, and the meta's changed quite a bit since then. So we're just going to go right into it. So now, not a whole lot has changed. The ratio of Inzektors is still the same, so we're still doing 3 Dragonfly with the 3 Centipede. Basically, if you get Centipede in Ladybug or Dragonfly in Ladybug, you have full combo. You can do the whole play. Then of course we got the 3 Ladybug. Ladybug is just a nice little, just a nice good play to use on your turn. Otherwise, Hornet's only really great for going second. Hornet also has his place for popping your own bigger Inzektors, and we only run 2 Hornet. That's all we need. We can search them, special them. We can get them in so many different ways. And then we're still just running the 1 Giga Weevil and the 1 Giga Mantis. The reason why is they both have the same effect for like the graveyard special summoning. So when we use Hornet to pop them, we just get more plays, more resources, all that fun stuff. So that's just the Inzektor part of the engine, and that's, like I said, that's stayed the same since the last. Same with the beetroopers. We're only running the Sting Lancer. We only run 2, just in case I draw 1. That way Atlas can still special summon the other, and we can get a nice free search to the fusion spell or the trap, whatever we need from the beetrooper part of the deck. And then we're actually running one Samurai Beetle here. However you pronounce that archetype's name,
I have no idea.
I think everyone just calls it Reika or whatever.
Yeah.
They just shorten it. So we just run him at 1. He's searchable in the deck with the continuous spell. I only ever need 1. He's really, really good in the deck because when you use him for a link material for one of the Reika link monsters, you can then special summon a level 4 insect monster from the grave, and shocker, you can special summon Dragonfly and can extend plays that way. So that's really nice. He also special summons himself from your hand by taking one of your banished insect monsters and putting it at the bottom of the deck. So a lot of these cards that Reika actually works really well with Inzektors, with like putting resources back into the deck, only for you to call them back out and reuse their effects over and over and over again. So we only need 1 of those guys for this deck. Then for just like a quick hand trap lineup, Nib. Nib is just too important, and you just kind of have to run them. Now, we do run the 3 Ash. You know, I'm the kind of guy who just, like, you know, most of the time people play at locals, just side whatever hand traps that screw your local players up. Like, if you need to run Droll, you know, easy swap out there. This is just a basic hand trap lineup. But you're likely running Imperm no matter what. You know, it's just up to you how you want to fill these hand trap spots. So it's really nice to see that it's opened up a little bit in Inzektors for me to have enough room to actually run some impactful hand traps now in the deck. And then we do have 3 droplets. I run this card, you know, because you have to have some way of going second, and droplets is the best we can do for going second.
That sets up a lot.
It can set up a lot. It just really depends on the matchup, to be perfectly honest with you. Depending on my matchup, this might be the first card that I side out. So that's where like it's a little bit dependent upon your matchup. So it's just a nice like 3 open slots. You know, I can definitely see people going like, instead of running the droplets, you know, for the going second, you reinforce the go first and do like cross out. Yeah. I can definitely see that too. It's just kind of like, but at that point, you know, it's just a coin flip. Like, you know, like it's tough. But so I run droplets because droplets can trigger certain abilities off of Inzektors. Like if you equip Giga Weevil or Mantis, you can send it off of droplet and still trigger the effects of your Inzektors. So it's neat in that aspect. But it may not always be the go-to play for you, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, slight changes. I'm only running this at 2 now. It's a hard once per turn, and I only ever need 1 for the deck to get going. So I run 2 Because like if I get it in my first hand, awesome. If I don't, whatever, I'll just search it. So that's why it's at 2. To be honest, if someone really wants to push this deck like further and you want to run that risk, you can even run this card at 1, to be honest. You potentially could. I haven't done that quite yet because, like I said, I do like the aspect of potentially getting it in my first hand. Just know if you run it at 1, you're running the risk of just never drawing it in your first hand, which can be a bummer. And then we are running the continuous spell because we are running the 1 monster. And having this card to search for it is really nice, but the reason why this card is at 2 is because its secondary effect is special summon a Reika monster from the grave. It's just really nice. It makes it super easy to just bring back one of the links that you have in Reika in the extra deck, and you'll see those in a little bit. It's just really nice to have that access and just continue plays going with those. So that's why we're running this at 2, because it, not only is it a monster reborn, it's also a searcher. So it's really nice in that aspect. So we definitely want to run 2 of those. Then of course we run the call by, and of course because of beetroopers we got to run that instant fusion. And then we run Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is just a means to an end. Like we're just trying to get Ladybug, because if I drew Foolish Burial with Inzektor, Dragonfly, that's full combo as well. It's just nice having Foolish Burial. It's just essentially a way of getting you whatever Inzektor you need in grave and grave. Then we are still running the 3 Insect Imitation because, it's a really nice combo with Ladybug and just grabbing, raiding the Dragonfly, going into full combo. Or even now it's got another use where you can actually use the Ladybug to grab the Reika monster that we're running at 1. You can just special summon that directly off the deck, just by grabbing Ladybug off a Dragonfly effect, and then boom, sacking the Dragonfly to get the beetle. And then you get that whole effect. Feels good. So that will be that. And then we have, of course, just the 1 fusion. We do like the fusion. The beetrooper fusion is really strong in this deck. And even more so now because the Reika stuff, there's a lot of banishing of insect monsters. So it's really easy to trigger some of those effects that I'll discuss later. Then, of course, we're running the beetrooper Fly Sting. And then the new Reika Trap. I shouldn't say new, but it's newer for Reikas. And essentially, if you control a plant, a reptile, and an insect, you can destroy 3 things on your opponent's board. Really nice interruption, and that's like you'll see from the extra deck. This is now pivoted from like control to just interruption. So like I just want to interrupt your plays. I'm not necessarily preventing you from doing them. I'm just interrupting them. And that's what we do here. Moving in. So we do run for fusions. We are going to run the 4K unaffected because a lot of decks can't handle it. And then we do run the fusion I was mentioning earlier. This is why we run the instant fusion. Has a really, really nice set of effects. When it's summoned, we can search for a spell trap beetrooper card. Super nice. And then on top of it, we can, whenever an insect monster is banished, you can actually special summon one of your banished beetrooper monsters. And because of the Reika stuff, as you'll see here, it's actually a really good combo with this fusion. Then we have Cicada King, of course. Cicada King he's king. What can I say? He's great. I like him. I am running 1 Exostag. The reason we're running Exostag is because there's some things in the meta that just can't be destroyed. So this is a nice little out to them where you can just equip them as material, not necessarily destroy them. So it's a nice workaround for specific matchups. So having him is important. And that's the same reason as to why we're running Exabeetle. Exabeetle is a little bit different too. It's not necessarily you're up against something that not only can't be destroyed, it sends that target to the grave. So that's what's really nice is it kind of bypasses those things. So that's why we run that. And because we run Ladybug, these are easy options for us to go into. So that's why these are really nice. This targets. Yeah. But, since you love your heroes so much, Exostag is my out for Bane.
Yeah.
So.
And Plasma.
Yeah. It's kind of it's what I have to do. It's fun.
Gate Plasma first, but yeah.
And since Inzektors are cool and we still have Union Carrier. It's just Piccolo Fina. It's just a really nice card. It's still very key to the combo. Absolutely adore this card. Just does really, really nice. I can't say enough good things about it. Another crucial card is Armorhorn. Armorhorn is just, God, what a great card. Just a really good insect. He's a really good starter to the combo. That first start of the combo, like you guys probably may have seen in the previous video of like the combo, it's still the same. The deck still starts the same. It's just the end board is different. And this is where we start to get into like the new fun stuff. And this is one of the new Reikas. So he's really cool because what he'll do is he special summons a Reika monster from the graveyard, which is really nice. And all these Reikas have the same effect of where you can return an insect monster that's like face up on the board, right? So let's say you have Centipede. And you're like, man, I don't have any more Centipedes left in the deck for my Dragonflight is special. You can special summon these guys after you like link them off to something. You can special summon these guys by throwing a face-up insect monster to the bottom of your deck. And then suddenly, oh wait, I have resources again. So then you can special summon the Centipede back and use its effect again. So that is why Reikas are really, really nice for Inzektors, with squeezing out even more resources into the deck and also refreshing things. And then we still just want to run one of the trap tricks. This is a nice go second link, I will say. After I beat your board a little bit, like I negate some of the crucial monsters, this link will then just clean it up. Well, then I'll have like a full board of insects and plants, and then like I'll say your whole board's negated. Like nothing has effects. So it's really nice having that, once again, for specific matchups that this deck kind of struggles with. And I love a Mantis Monk. This is one of the best ones. I'm so glad that this Link 3 is an insect, because it's a really easy way for Armorhorn to link out, so you no longer are restricted to just only insects. You can use the Armorhorn to get into the Mantis Monk. In Mantis Monks, he banishes insect monsters to search for a trap. So you search for this trap. And because you banished insect monsters, you could have, if depending on how you played it, you could trigger his effect to special summon that Armorhorn that was just banished for this guy. You can special summon that back. So you just have crazy link materials and can always just go into like the big links of the deck. So Mantis Monk is incredibly good. And once again, they all have that same effect of you just return one of your monsters that you have, insect, plant, or reptile, you throw it to the bottom, and he'll special summon himself right back from the grave. The only restriction that they have is that you can only special summon insect, reptile, or plant monsters for the rest of the turn, which is no problem because that's the whole deck. So then, moving on from Mantis Monk, we are obviously still running Atlas. Atlas is still a fantastic, fantastic card. Absolutely love him. Some decks just genuinely can't beat him. He's just really hard to handle. He can't be targeted or destroyed. So that's tough to deal with for a 3,000 monster. And this card has really grown on me. This is actually a really cool card. So I no longer run Appaloosa on this deck. This is now my Link 4 of choice for this.
Yeah, Coils is pretty dope.
Because as I mentioned, I'm like locked into insect, plant, reptile. So what this does is this actually locks both players, not just your opponent. It locks both players from playing effects from the hand. And that's actually like really strong, obviously, because this can basically say your opponent goes to no nib, you don't get to do that. You're fine. It's just actually really nice having that. And then, of course, you gotta have the Link 5, who is also conveniently an insect. It makes really, really easy plays. So as I mentioned, when we use the Mantis to banish, trigger the effect, bring back Armorhorn, you already have a level 2 Link, and then you have a 3 Link, and easy play into another insect. And it doesn't interfere with Armorhorn's passive effect of you can only special summon insects, because that Link 5 is an insect. So I don't know if Konami had that in mind when they made this, but it was really nice that they did that. So there's a lot of combos that you can do with these links. Now this link just is fantastic interruption because it's non-target destruction. So when your opponent special summons a monster, you can destroy 2 cards that they control. And it's, like I said, it's a non-target destruction. So it is incredibly good. So we're basically just, we have interruption in the deck that can bypass certain effects. Like, it can't be targeted, and we make sure we have cards that, stop effects that say they can't be destroyed, all that kind of stuff. Whatever we need, we have an answer to it for this deck. Then the last link is we run Cosmic Tree. The Cosmic Tree is hilarious to me because it's part of a kind of a scummy strat, I'm going to be honest, for Inzektors. So you may be wondering, what's the overall strategy outside of interruption? So the overall strategy actually revolves around Cosmic Tree. So Cosmic Tree, it's every time your opponent special summons a monster, you gain life points equal to the attack of that monster. And the reason why this mechanic is, I would say this is probably a frowned upon.
Degenerate?
It's definitely frowned upon, because like if I were to use this in competitive play, and and I'd probably use crossouts and stuff like that if I was going like super ultra competitive. What I'm basically doing, the board will look similar to like this, just to give you guys just a brief example of what the board would look like. Some variation of this is what you'd be looking at for a board. There'd probably be 2 other monsters here, but that depends on what your hand is, and what you decide to go for. So what ends up happening with this is you can't necessarily... One, it's already a tough enough board to break because you'll have these 2 in your back, and you would have an insect and a plant and a reptile, right? You'd have all these. So that means this is going to blow up 3 monsters. That means this is live to negate something. Then you have, the interruption of like popping 2 cards when they special summon a monster. And even though, since it doesn't negate the special summon monster, it doesn't interfere with Cosmic Tree at all. Since you still summoned it, I still gain the life points. So basically, my turn takes so incredibly long fleshing out this combo that by the time I pass turn, we might already be going into time. So what ends up happening is I have Cosmic Tree. Every play you make gives me life points. And what's the ruling on overtime? Whoever has the most life points wins. So Cosmic Tree puts your opponent in a position to where if they play the game, you're going to win regardless, because they're going to have to special summon too many monsters for them to even possibly kill you.
Yeah, because their combo is going to take 8
exactly.
minutes.
It's going to give you way too many life points. So you're just building up life points, and they may not even beat the board. And you have just enough interruption, not to necessarily tell them that they can't play the game, but just enough interruption to where your life points are far too high for them to finish the game, and you can just simply go into OT and say, I have more life points.
Yeah.
That is the strategy of this deck. It's not, I will say, for casual play, when people just want to play for like the end of it, it still can obviously put out enough damage to kill someone or enough interruption to stop you from making any big plays. But essentially, because the combo takes so long to get to this board, and your opponent's combo is going to take so long, the game's over.
Yeah. And even with that, like, even the competitive play with, your bells and your tempais and even your snake eye. Your snake eye is going to have a difficult time dealing with all those interruptions. And they do have a difficult time dealing with those interruptions, especially with not being able to play hand effects. They can't even start with their freaking Ashen.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they can't even, so they're sitting there going, oh shit. And they normally do anyway. So, and Yubel's like, oh snap. Like, all right.
Yeah, so I mean that's honest, like that's the strategy. So I make sure that like the links that you summon don't interfere with his effect, and you just kind of stare at your opponent and just like, all right, play the game. Because like if you get to this board, like unless, and this is the weirdest thing ever, they would likely have, I don't know if many players would be aware of it, like what the strategy is. They may not even, like if they had an imperm to start with, they obviously can't imperm Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
They may go for this one. Maybe.
Yeah, but then they got 2 more interruptions to worry about.
Actually, wait, no, I forgot. They can't activate it from the hand. So never mind.
Yeah,
never mind. I was just trying to think of some way that they would do it. If they could somehow.
They can't even droplet because they'd have to put it face down first.
No, they could droplet. Droplet would be fine.
Isn't that the hand? Oh, yeah.
No, this is just.
Yeah.
This is. I
Monster
think it might
effects
just be
from
monster
him.
effects. Yeah. So then I think
They can imperm.
yeah, they can imperm. So I don't know if they'd be aware enough to imperm tree, and it might actually be kind of a waste of resources for them to imperm tree while all these other effects are live.
They said they have so much more.
So it's an interesting thing, but yeah, I've funny enough, you can't really play this deck in Master Duels. Master Duels doesn't give you enough time to use the combo completely. That's a little frustrating. That it's just genuinely not enough time for you to do it. Even if you're going as fast as possible, you just don't have enough time. And that's because that's how long the combo takes. Yeah. So when you're in competitive play, you do this combo, you do the whole gig and whatever. Your opponent goes like, all right. You either concede to try and save time for the next game, or we're just going to go into OT right here. Yeah. And like I said, even if they break the board, how many life points?
This guy alone, with the amount of special summoning that's still in this game, is going to give you just.
So it's just like, how much life points did you give me? Yeah. Well, are you even in a position to even kill me? Like, like
a
that's.
A lot of the time they're going to give you like 15,000 anyways.
Yeah, and that's all it does. I have the interruption that makes it where I make them work a little harder and use enough resources to where even if they broke my board, they don't have nearly enough to like make up the gap in life points. And then I just simply say, all right, we're in OT. And then they just kind of have to figure out a way to, like, honestly, when I get to this point, like once you know the strategy, I guess you could, actually, I don't even know. Depending on the deck, you're just going to have an issue. Because like even if you imperm the Cosmic Tree being aware of the strategy, you have a ton of interruption to deal with. Yeah. And like I said, this is bare minimum. There'd be 2 more monsters. I mean, 2 more monsters because this would be in the extra deck zone. There'd be 2 more monsters here. So you'd have more issues. Sometimes, like, depending on how, like, sacky your hand is, there might be the 4K unaffected sitting there. And even if you got, and that's what's the beauty of Reikas, is even if you got by the Reika, right? He has the same effect. All you have to do is throw something to the bottom of your deck and he comes right back from the grave. That's basically the strategy, what it does. I found this strategy to be the most successful.
Heck yeah.
Because it's abusing a ruling. Basically, their overtime ruling.
Oh, it's definitely using the game to your advantage. It's definitely using the ruling to the advantage. Definitely. It's never not.
Yeah, it's pretty much what you do. Because the combo does take really long. I'm not exaggerating when I say like the combo takes a very, very long time. The combo itself, I mean, if no one's asking questions.
Yeah, and we'll show you the combo in another video.
Yeah.
We're already at 24 minutes.
Yeah, so that's the strategy of this deck and like what it does. Reikas are actually genuinely fun for like the extra deck stuff. But yeah, that's basically what it does. It's just a fun little cheesy deck.
Combo video coming up. Infinite Nebula, we out. Take care.